The monsoon arrived that night like an angry beast. I was 15, alone for the first time, as my parents left for a wedding. The sky turned purple, wind howled, and rain hammered the tin roof. I tried to read, but every gust rattled the windows, and the old banyan tree thrashed outside. Then, the lights flickered and died, plunging the house into darkness. I fumbled for my phone, but its glow only made the shadows seem deeper. Lighting candles, I watched their weak flames cast eerie shapes on the walls. The house felt unfamiliar. Every creak amplified. That's when I heard it tap, tap, tap. The sound came from the kitchen, soft, deliberate, not the storm. I strained to listen, heart pounding. Maybe it was a branch, I told myself, but the rhythm was too precise. I tried to ignore it, but the tapping persisted, echoing my fear. The feeling of being watched crept over me, cold and sharp. The house no longer felt empty. I clutched my book, unable to focus, as the tapping continued. The storm outside was nothing compared to the dread inside. I waited, breath held, for what would come next. My breath hitched. The darkness pressed in, thick and alive. I grabbed my phone, desperate to call my parents, but there was no service. Cut off, I felt the fear tighten around me. The tapping stopped, replaced by a heavy silence. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head. Determined to be brave, I stood, candle in hand, and crept toward the kitchen. Each step was a battle against my own terror. The kitchen doorway yawned before me, black and ominous. I took a deep breath, ready to prove there was nothing there. Suddenly, the sound returned, louder and now coming from outside. It was no longer a tap, it was a knock. My heart pounded as I froze, listening. Someone, or something, was at the back door. The storm outside raged, but the real threat was now at my doorstep. I backed away, searching for a place to hide. The night was far from over. The knocking grew louder, pounding against the back door. My blood ran cold. This was no branch, no wind, but a fist. Who would be out there in the storm at the back door? I called out, voice trembling, but got no answer. Just the relentless rain. The knocking came again, more insistent, as if whoever was out there knew I was alone. Panic surged. I stumbled away from the kitchen, nearly dropping the candle. Should I hide? Run? My mind raced with fear. The knocking stopped. Silence pressed in, thick and suffocating. I crept to the living room window, desperate to see who, or what, was out there. My hands shook as I peered into the stormy alley. Suddenly, the pounding resumed, shaking the door in its frame. Bang, bang, bang. It was violent, furious, as if trying to break in. I scrambled away, heart in my throat, trapped and helpless. The storm outside was nothing compared to the terror inside. I pressed myself against the wall, praying for it to stop. The pounding echoed through the house, relentless. I was alone, with only the darkness and the storm for company. And whatever waited outside. Desperation pushed me to the window. I climbed onto a stool, peering out into the rain-swept alley. Lightning flashed, illuminating the empty space. No one was there. The alley was deserted, rain pouring, shadows flickering. How could the pounding be so real, yet no one visible? Confusion wired with fear as I searched every corner. Each flash of lightning revealed only emptiness. The pounding stopped, replaced by the storm's steady rhythm. I climbed down, trembling, the question haunting me. What had made that sound? I huddled in the living room, watching shadows until dawn. The night felt endless, the mystery unsolved. Dawn broke, the storm fading to drizzle. I hadn't slept, nerves raw and frayed. Relief flooded me as my parents returned. I could barely speak, only mumbling about the storm. My father checked the back door and I followed, dread twisting inside me. In the morning light, we saw two large, muddy handprints pressed against the door. My father frowned, puzzled, but the lock was intact. Proof that something, or someone, had been there. The empty alley, the pounding, the handprints, all real. The monsoon would never feel the same. Now, every storm brings back that night, the tapping, the knocking, the fear. I wonder what the rain hides and what waits in the shadows. Some mysteries, I learned, are left behind by muddy hands.